Welcome to my channel. This is The Revolutionary. Saturday, April 6, 2019. Today's topic is welfare and welfare reform. Yes, as an American that's politically a leftist, I'm against it, to be honest with you. I don't believe in complacency. Look, everyone has hard times, and I know that people that has a job, that's what it's intended for. It's intended for people, to give them a temporary hand up, not a permanent handout, and not having people there subsidizing, weird, promiscuous, or strange lifestyles. And we need to get serious about having certain people not qualify for it. I want to get something out the gate on this here. This is not a thing of any belief of a specific group, on this issue. This is a multiracial problem. I'm going to put that across to you. So any individuals that got something in your mind of a, supremacist complex, you're living in a fantasy world if you believe that in the United States with the highest population here. Okay. So, I'm going to tell everyone, nice try with that if you think that. The point is that the taxpayer is not good for the taxpayer whatsoever. It's not. It's not fair to the taxpayer. If someone is spitting out multiple kids, especially if you're on the system already, if you have a kid and you're on the system, you should lose it right there. Like right there, because it just shows you're irresponsible and don't care. Right there, you should lose it. They should have a situation where, you should know for example, the parent of the kids, like the other father or the mother or something like that. Let's say, for example, I'm just using a hypothetical. Let's say if you don't know the husband not the husband, I keep saying that, the father's name, if you don't know anything about him or her and they're engaged in risky, street behavior or Billy Badass behavior, I don't think someone like that should qualify for it. I really don't. Because those are exactly the kind of individuals that wind up in this situation all the time. And we need to start decentivizing that kind of behavior. If you're sitting up there dating somebody who is got a high risk of going to jail or is got other women already pregnant and you're sitting there screwing around with that person, that your chances are high of winding up the same way, we should not give those individuals public assistance. I don't believe in that. I don't care if they're black, white, Mexican. Done. Okay? We're going to do that. You might as well just only support people who are trying to start businesses and hire other people. You can't do that. That's unacceptable. Okay, we got this is also even something that should be even more of a focus now in today's time, because we got a lot of slackers in America. I'm not going to lie. Like, that's just something that is just going on here. Other countries really look at us with that slacker stuff. Be like big time. So, it's just what it is. It is what it is. But welfare reform is something that should be looked at. Now, the real welfare reform, as we all know, is wasteful spending from the government, like things like having the military industrial complex. That is the top problem with American wasteful spending right there. Going to wars, stupid wars, is dumb. Okay, right there. Specifically, if it's done for, artificial macho reasons over here in the United States, it shouldn't be done. And also other agendas, for crony capitalists and whatnot. And, imperialism, I'm against that. I'm against intervention. I'm a big believer in staying out of other countries. That regime change nonsense, that's nothing more than just the United States of America, us as the Americans being arrogant. We should stay out of other nations and stay out of their business. But, that we all know. Republicans, that's one thing that Republican voters and progressives are on the same page. This whole thing about going overseas all the time, that's a waste of a lot of money for everyone right there. And I'm actually glad to see that Republicans have come around too and said, you know what, we don't want to be going anywhere. This is just a little too much. So that's good there. You know, giving money to certain countries, you know, I believe in giving money from Israel or whatever, giving it over to the Midwest. That's better spent. Don't ship anyone any weapons, so, you do things like that, well, why should we spend, give billions of dollars to a country or whatever when we should just give it to Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Like, I'd rather do that than sit down and give, money to other nations and babysit them, only to have them be destabilized eventually anyway. It's a waste of time. But getting back to welfare, it is something that is out of control. And let's be honest, this is more of a thing that's focused more to women. Look, ladies that are listening to this, look, it sucks. There's a lot of guys out here that do have, let's just say, a situation where they shouldn't be engaging in certain types of activity. But you should not be messing around with someone like that too. People make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, but it's time that everyone takes responsibility and say, you mess with that man knowing that he has a certain lifestyle and the rest of the taxpayers should not have to pay for that. When I was a bouncer, I seen too many examples of people partying out, having kids time after time after time. I've seen this in country music. Okay, I've seen this in rap. I've seen it in virtually every single time we have a situation of a lot of women going in there, messing around, right, with the new guy that they're trying to get to get with them, and they got, their kid in the car. What is that? What is that? Yeah, I mean, we got to understand what kind of mentalities we're dealing with out here. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. That kind of stuff is why you see a segment of the population that is quote unquote bourgeoisie. That kind of stuff right there. That's why you see them kind of having a really uppity kind of like looking down, nose. They shouldn't do that. But that's one of the first top things they will tell you is that. They say, okay, well, these kind of individuals engage in this kind of activity a little too much, and that's just, it's something that shouldn't be done, man. I mean, yeah, you do have some people that live in the suburbs that get over on that too. Anyone who's a crook and a criminal, they exploit that too. But at the same time, we all know that based on what we see majority of the times, it's a situation of, women being a little too, I don't want to use the word just risky because those are facts, but I wanted to say this is straight dumb. That person is engaging in a conduct that he might not stay around. He's going to be in jail or something like that or whatever. We can't have that. I believe that they should reform it to where they should have welfare reform to where if you don't know that man's name, right? If you don't know that man or woman's name, that way this doesn't come off sexist to some of you, which I don't care, to be honest with you, right? If you don't know that man or woman's name, or if that man or woman is engaging in Billy Badass street, hoodlum behavior, you should not get it. If something happens to you in that situation, you shouldn't get it because those are the ones highest risk to that situation right there. You can't find a babysitter. Babysitters are a lot of money. Okay, so that's a problem. We've all seen situations, every single one of you has seen situations where there's a woman that even wants to work and not be on it, and she can't because she has too many kids and now can't afford it. So she's in a rabbit on a treadmill, wants to work, but can't because she can't afford the babysitters. And even if she is working now, we're somehow subsidizing that person. You know what I mean? So that's something that everyone has to sit down and really, as voters, start to put their foot down and say, this is not what it is. Now, guess what? That is a leftist problem. That is a Democratic Party problem because they're sitting over there catering to these women who don't want to admit to that. When I'm over here as a leftist saying, no, that is unacceptable. Because you got to do what's right. What's wrong is wrong. What's right is right. Okay, it's time to sit down and get people out of the baby crap and say this is unacceptable. You know, because everybody's in their feelings and all of that. It doesn't matter. What comes first is the taxpayers. They don't want to pay for your problems. That's what it comes down to. They're willing to pay for you to advance your life in education, right? They're willing to pay for your life. Maybe in some cases, I know the healthcare thing is really controversial, but let's just say even that. But what they don't want to pay for is you making stupid mistakes, period, that you know are going to lead to that decision, to that issue and that outcome. They don't want to pay for that. No one does. I don't. And most people in this country don't. This is not just a you know what's funny about this whole thing is that I'm going to be honest with you. There's a lot of leftists that talk about this issue, right? But at the same time, too, they're kind of like talking out the side of their mouth with it because they know that it's not right. But at the same time, too, they go with the program because they're afraid of being labeled something. I'm not afraid of a damn thing. That's the one thing that y'all are going to find out and like about me in this channel. I'm not afraid of a damn thing. You think that this right here is bad. When I start talking about the man haters, this is going to really get extreme because I could care less about them specifically. So you got that going on. And, you know, this is why the Democratic Party, you know, and the leftists put up with this nonsense here. So that's just what it is. I'm against it. Y'all already know my stance on it. You know, I'm for the tax. I'm pro taxpayer. I don't believe in that stuff. So you will hear me down the road say I'm for universal health care, which I am. They got this new healthcare, this, you know, proposal where it's like, okay, we got American healthcare. I'm going to tell everyone in another video that that's a scam. That's a neoliberalist scam. This whole thing about they're trying to do whatever they can to undermine people that have health care. Okay, that's crony capitalists at work. This country hasn't more than enough money to pay for everyone to be covered in universal health care. This is not just, again, a racial situation. That's for everyone. But you got people, unfortunately, that want to run around here in politics, want to have their hand in the cookie jar, and they want their hand in big pharma. Okay? And that's not right. That is also unacceptable. You know, here's the thing. When it comes to, you know, the whole healthcare thing, we're going to get into that talk in another video. And it's going to be very straightforward. But this welfare thing, you got to have welfare reform. Period. End of discussion. You know, what's right, what's right. What's wrong is wrong. So we have that there. That's the end of this video. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for coming. I am the Revolutionary.